Thank you for coming tonight and joining us. Is this my microphone? I think it is. Okay. So welcome to this concert by Musicians for Harmony, their 20th anniversary concert, a concert for peace. And you can't have peace without communication. And communication is what music is all about. Communication from the musician to the audience, but musician to musician as well. And so we're celebrating the fact that musicians can rejoin each other in public at this time. It's been a long wait, and it's very meaningful for the musicians. And of course, we're on the cusp of a further uncertainty, but tonight we're gathered to be together, to make music together, and to be here as an audience for the musicians, which is, even being part of an audience is not a passive act. The musician needs you. The musician has been hungry to play for you. So we're excited about being able to do that. We have 2 string quartets and 2 indescribable ensembles to play for you tonight. We have the representatives of the venerable classical tradition, the Juilliard String Quartet, and they're going to play some Beethoven for us. Kinan Azmeh, originally from Syria, has his CityBand, and he's an amazing clarinetist, and they'll be playing for us. After the intermission, ETHEL, which is a string quartet of a different color. They're a string quartet that's looking to the future, looking for new territory for the quartet. And Musique sans Frontières will be performing some really music that draws from many different sources, true to their name. It's music without borders. I'm David Garland, and I have an association with Musicians for Harmony that goes way back to their first concert. I helped present it on the radio on WNYC, where I presented music for many years. And, the world has changed a lot in those 20 years since 9/11 and the early concerts of this ensemble. And musicians have been working remotely, as many of us have, but, remote is not what music is about. Music is about connection. And so we're going to be able to watch these people connect with one another and with us. And, connection is the soul of music. So it's a bit of a return of our souls to ourselves and to these musicians. So we can be grateful for that as well. And some of the music tonight involves improvisation. So what could be more immediate, more alive to the moment, and more sensitive to a sense of connection than that? So it's going to be a fun concert, and thank you for coming. And I'd like you to welcome the founder of Music for Harmony, and she's the executive director, Allegra Klein.
Thank you so much, David. Can everyone hear me okay? Thank you. Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 20th anniversary concert for Peace of Musicians for Harmony. This is a very special week for me. It's the reunion of all of our musicians and the coming together of old friends, as well as the beginning of new lives in my family. As we look back the last 20 years, we remember that it's around this same time each year that we remember 9/11 and what happened on that fateful day. We ask one another, what were you doing that day? Do you remember? So that we don't forget. Now it's been 20 years, and the memories are starting to fade. But with our concert today, we are reminded of the collective tragedies we experienced that tragic day in 2001. Today, we look back and commemorate lives lost. It's been 10 years since our last concert for peace right here in Merkin Hall. And we want to pay tribute to the artists who have been part of Musicians for Harmony, but who have passed on since the last 10th anniversary concert. And you'll see their names in your programs tonight. First is Bassam Saba, Lebanese musician and leader of the New York Arabic Orchestra. He passed away from COVID last December in Lebanon. Michael Tree, the violist of the Guarneri Quartet, who was with us multiple times, especially in the earlier years. Mary Wilson, the singer, famous for her role in the Supremes. She passed this last year. And one of our Iraqi friends, Majid Azawi, he was the education coordinator for our educational programs in Iraq. And another longtime supporter that I wanted to mention was Julie Van Ness, who came to every single concert, helped with our receptions. She was my mom. We pay tribute, but it's not enough. We must look forward. An entire generation has grown up in the past 20 years. What will the next 2 decades bring? How can we make the world a better place for our children and grandchildren? I don't have the answers, of course, but one thing I know, music is always part of the solution. Thanks to all the wonderful artists who agreed to perform on today's concert, and without further ado, please welcome to the stage the Juilliard String Quartet.
Good evening, and thank you very, very much for being here. It's a great honor to be back at this wonderful concert hall, to be playing for every single one of you. So thank you very much. This is actually one of these occasions where the word affairs are intertwined with everybody's personal life, really. Of course, we're marking an incredibly tragic occasion, but also it coincides with actually some kind of a personal connection. I moved to New York City about a week before 9/11 happened. So this is my 20th anniversary in the city, so I feel incredibly at home. And for me, coming back to this stage feels incredibly like home, so thank you very much for making us feel this way. And the band and I are celebrating 15 years of playing together. So this is my family, away from my family. Kyle Sana on guitar. Josh Myers on bass. And John Hatfield on drums. The first actually time we played together as a quartet was on this stage exactly 13 years ago. And that's when Josh actually joined the band. The first tune we played for you is titled Dance, and it's a fourth movement of a work that I initially wrote for clarinet and cello. But this movement just took a life on its own. It lent itself very nicely for the band. It's called Dance, and the full work is titled The Fence, the Rooftop, and the Distant Sea. We're going to continue with another piece. Is a new piece of ours, and it's written by the wonderful Kyle Sana, and the title is Galileo Galilei. we're gonna change gear a little bit. This piece has a personal meaning for me. It's a small tune that is inspired by a specific part of land. I grew up in Damascus, and every weekend, our weekend back in Syria is Friday. So every Friday, my parents will take us to the green belt that surrounds Damascus. It's referred to as Al-Ghuta. And there is a piece of land that my grandparents owned. And we go every weekend to work in the land. We learn how to grow apricot trees, we grow peaches, you name it. And we worked with the soil, basically. And I think it's in that part of the world where I maybe develop my most sincere sense of home. I think it's kind of true, where you plant a tree is where at least one of your homes are. In that part of the world, there are apricot trees that are maybe 5 or 6 years younger than I am. And maybe you've heard the name Ghuta before. Ghuta, this green belt that surrounds Damascus, was heavily under siege and was bombarded in a really tragic way in the last 10 years. So we lost touch with the land. So this little tune is titled Jisreen. It's an homage to that little village outside of Damascus. It's an homage to the people of that town. Most of them left. But also it's an homage to the apricot trees, at least the surviving one of them. So this is Jisreen. I hope you enjoy. Thank you very much. Thank you. We're going to play one more for you before we all take a break. But before we do so, I would like to introduce again my family, Oi for my family, Kyle Sana on guitar. Joshua Myers on bass. And John Hatfield on drums. Thank you very much, Allegra, for putting this together. It's, of course, Allegra, and also it takes a village, everybody who's involved. Peter, thank you for doing our sound. Everybody, Merkin Hall, thank you. Every single one of you, thank you for being here. The tune we're gonna end this set with is a piece that we played actually on the same stage 13 years ago. It's one of these pieces that change context and meaning over the years. The title of this piece, Wedding, those of you who have seen us perform before, it's been a classic ending of all our shows. I wrote the piece back in 2007, and it was inspired, the melody is original, but it's inspired by the mood and the spirit one can find in a Syrian village wedding. For you to picture it, it's a public square, everybody shows up. I like always to joke that it's the kind of parties where even if you don't like your neighbor, you have to invite them to it. People show up because they assume that the families of the groom and the bride are going to cook for everybody, so that explains why people show up too. And among those who show up are the musicians of the village. They come and they play whatever they like to play. There's no playlist of sort. I think what they like to play over the evening is largely inspired and influenced by how many drinks they have. So we're gonna try to capture that mood of this Syrian village wedding. And for me, how it changes context over time. Now, every time I play this piece, I like to think of how people, in spite of atrocities and tragedies, manage to simply fall in love. I think of my countrymen and women, but also people from all around the world. In spite of bullets, barrel bombs, chemical attacks, people still have the resilience and the courage to fall in love. I think it's really inspiring to just witness that. I guess maybe it's a reminder for all of us that maybe falling in love is one of the very few human rights that no authority can take away. So this is a dedication from all of us on stage, and I hope all of you off stage, to all the people who managed to do that during dark times. So yes, on a note of love, thank you very much for being here. This is Wedding.
if he's ready, I would like to welcome Kinan Azmeh back to the stage. Here he is.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you so much. What a thrill. That was great music.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I really enjoyed that without the full traditional drum set, so much subtlety is possible. I loved the interplay and the subtlety you can have.
You know, the band and I went through like a bunch of different acoustic phases. We started, actually, I'm the only one who didn't evolve. I kept just playing the same instrument for a while. The only difference is I have an instrument with black keys instead of like the usual silver keys. But when we started, Josh was playing upright bass. John was playing just cajon and a couple frame drums, and Kyle was playing acoustic guitar. And then we went through a phase where we went all electronic for a while. So now we're trying to find a hybrid situation.
Well, you found it. You found it.
Yeah,
I really
so we're enjoying that.
Yeah. So I'm interested to know how your musical life was affected by the pandemic. I understand it was a fairly productive period for your family. If I understand, you had a baby recently.
That's very true. That's very true. I guess you just, you summarized it. It's been a very interesting year, or a couple of years is an understatement, obviously.
Yeah.
And my thoughts and really go to everybody who's been affected. And I know many people who lost loved ones, people who are affected in travel-wise, you name it. This year has been really interesting for me on several levels. One of them is the fact that I'm usually on tour. Most of my life, I'm on tour. And staying at home allowed me to think of how your brain compensates for the lack of travel, and you start to enjoy your immediate surroundings. My wife and I were lucky enough to move to a place that has a little backyard. And after living for 20 years in New York, it was the first time that I paid attention to the soil of the city. I would like to say the soil, but also the soul of the city. And I think similar to the piece that I played, Jessreen, the one inspired by Home in Damascus, I think this last year and a half made Brooklyn home for me because of that simple fact that I planted this weeping Japanese cherry tree. The moment I dug in the soil and planted the tree, I'm sorry, maybe it's a cliche, but I really felt something fundamentally changing in me. And it was the first year that, because of the no travel, that I noticed the changing of seasons, watched birds. I never thought that I'd be watching birds, but also we made a baby. It's been a combination of things. And I split my life between composing and performing. So this year, I just focused on writing. There are lots of things that one can talk about what happened in one's brain during this year and a half. I'm somebody who's optimistic. I try to make the best out of what I have. And, I keep our fingers crossed because we don't know if we're in the middle of it, we're at the beginning or at the end. Right. We don't know. The only thing I know that I try to make what I do relevant at all times, at least for myself. That's, I owe it to myself to keep creating.
Yeah.
And so that's how the year has been.
And this is a concert for peace. How can music be used to promote peace, do you feel?
If we ask music to promote anything, I think we're asking too much from music itself. I think music is meant, like all other art forms, are meant to be shared. And when you share something that you really feel for, you're already few steps closer to another person that was a stranger 5 minutes ago. Now, I just played for you. I think somehow you know me better and I know you better already by just the fact that we're in the same room.
Yes.
Experiencing something together. And music, it has an added value that music is one of the few languages where people can talk and listen at the same time. This conversation, you talk, I listen, I talk, you listen. When I play with the band, for example, you activate, I think, a more elaborate way of communicating And, and any kind of peace or justice is actually at the heart of that.
Yes.
So I think sharing something we love with the world gets the world closer to a peaceful or a more just world.
I agree. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Kinan Azmeh.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you all so much. That arrangement was completed in the summer of 2002, just as the work at St. Paul's Chapel completed in the Ground Zero recovery and relief effort. Dorothy played it with me 19 years ago. A real pleasure to bring that to you today. We're going to move to a bit of a world tour. We're going to start off first in South Africa with a treatment from Dorothy of the amazing Ladysmith Black Mambazo, a choral work called Vulinizio. And we're going to follow that. We're going to come back to the States with a visit to the power and joy of Southern Gospel with Ulysses Owens Jr.'s Revival Crusade. And then we're going to finish a mini set with James Kima Williams' A Veteran's Lament, which is his memory, his pain, his pride in service as a Vietnam veteran.
Thank you so very much. We'd like to close with some music that we made together with a friend of ours named Robert Mirabal, who is a Taos Pueblo elder. He taught us one song in Tiwa and another in Nawa, and we wove those into a piece of music that the five of us often perform together, and we'll do it without him tonight. But it's called Peace Calls, and it essentially means what peace we have is yours too. We share with you whatever peace we have.
So isla weana ene Imigla so isla weana ene Imigla so isla weana ene Imigla so isla weana ene Amateo Amateo
Thank you.